So what we've seen across 130 industries is a 20% increase in trusting intentions towards websites. That means that online consumers, web surfers, are more trusting now, 20% more trusting than they were 5 years ago. We looked into the data for clues to why this was happening. We also found a 20% increase in the attractiveness of websites and a decrease in loyalty across the internet. So after some statistical analysis, what we found was a positive correlation there whereby internet web surfers are more likely to venture out and try new websites than they would have 5 years ago. So we don't really see much difference between older people using the internet and younger people in their trusting intentions. It's generally across the board when we're seeing this trend towards more trusting intentions and more likelihood of venturing out and trying new websites. It's traditionally with the internet 10 years ago, 15 years ago, trust was a big issue for companies because of security and privacy issues. But now it seems to be much less of an issue, and we believe this is related to website attractiveness. What we're seeing is a remarkable similarity between human behavior and human and computer behavior, the way that humans respond to internet websites, in the sense that people are more trusting towards other people who are attractive. And this explains one reason why attractive women, for instance, make very good con people, because they earn people's trust very quickly. And so that's a similar effect to what we're seeing on the internet now, where web surfers are coming across extremely balanced, attractive looking websites and trusting them more than they would have if the website was not so attractive. People don't necessarily trust ugly websites, but they certainly seem to trust websites which are very attractive. And by attractive, we mean very well balanced and following conventions such as logo top left, navigation across the top, search on the right, nice colors, nice quality design. And generally our data is also showing an increase in attractiveness across the internet because of the way that internet design methods have matured over the years. And so nowadays it's more likely that a web surfer will come across an attractive website than a website which is not so attractive. The biggest source of frustration for web surfers appears to be ability to find relevant information on a website. That's the biggest killer that's the biggest driver of dissatisfaction. And as soon as a web visitor is dissatisfied, they'll leave that website and defect to a competitor. And the best way that website owners can stop that or reduce that is by increasing the relevancy of information. And this is also very similar to human-to-human type interaction. We tend to not form bonds or have a motive to want to form a bond with someone who's, should I say, boring in a sense. Somebody who's very interesting obviously has a lot more friends than somebody who finds it very difficult to be interesting. So it's very similar to the way that people are behaving on the internet right now. I think there was almost a kind of a myth in the past that if we make online consumers trust us, they'll stay, and that's all there is. But what our data is showing, the biggest driver of dissatisfaction absolutely is relevancy of information. So you can make an attractive website, but that might not be enough because all your competitors also have similar attractive websites. There's more chance that your customers will want to try something new and bounce around trying different websites. Loyalty is extremely important because it's much cheaper to retain your existing customers, keep them satisfied, than it is to attract new customers. That's very expensive, trying to get new customers to visit your website. And it's becoming increasingly expensive. So the best way to retain valuable customers is to provide relevant information. And it's a double-edged sword, because across the internet, our data is showing that relevancy of information across the internet is sliding down significantly, almost 16-17% over the last 5 years. And one of the reasons we believe this is happening is because of attempts by website owners to introduce keywords and other search engine optimization methods in an effort to get high on the Google results, but at the same time alienating their customers who don't want to read endless keywords about what they provide. What they want is information, they want it very quickly, and they want that information to be relevant. So it also ties into the navigation system of the website. A website where you arrive at and can't find what you came to, a website that you arrive at and you can't find the information you came to get, you'll get frustrated very quickly and leave. An internet store is very dissimilar to a regular store, and the way that human beings, the way that we're trained to search out for information, it could date back to the days when we were hunting for food and finding where we can bring food back. We walk into a department store, for example, we look up, we find out where the menswear or the women's wear section is, and we head in that direction. We go over there, we ask somebody where it is that we want to buy, they tell us where it is. We take it to the counter, pay for it, and it's relatively painless. However, on the internet, things are different because everything is segmented into pages. It's almost like walking into a store where everything is segmented into its own room. And you need a very good map to be able to navigate all those rooms to find what it is you came to find. And so this is one of the challenges for website owners, is to ensure that consumers can come, find what they want straight away. There are some websites who are doing this very well. Most, on the whole, are doing this very poorly. So this is a feature of human behavior, consumer behavior, that we can't really change. You can't mold consumers into the internet model necessarily. And I think a lot of website owners have been trying to do that for years, but it just doesn't work. In the data, we also saw a 32% increase in likelihood to refer others to company websites than we saw 5 years ago. And this is clearly appears to be a function of the increase in social media, especially the phenomenal rise in Facebook and LinkedIn and so forth. So what we're finding is people who are on Facebook are more likely to recommend companies who they see on Facebook than they are to recommend websites who they see off Facebook. So most companies now, it seems, have some sort of presence on Facebook, and this would explain the 32% increase in referral. So definitely word of mouth is taking over, and it is working for a lot of businesses. So the web rep algorithm was developed in 2004, 2005, and the purpose of the algorithm was to measure the quality of the internet, essentially, along 7 different dimensions of quality. The web rep algorithm is essentially a mathematical formula. It's programmed into C# programming language, and it maps the internet on measuring the quality of websites in 130 different industries. 7 different elements of quality, such as trustworthiness, ease of use, navigation quality, performance, load speed. These elements we've identified as being key to influencing satisfaction. And satisfaction is really what it's all about, because satisfaction is what dictates whether customers arrive and stay and spend money and come back to you, or whether they leave and defect to your competitor. Satisfaction dictates whether your customers will refer others and whether they'll come back next time to purchase, or else forget about you and go somewhere else. So that's the gold nugget there, is satisfaction. To give you an analogy, imagine that you go out for lunch and you feel like, before you're going out for lunch, eating some clam chowder. You walk into a restaurant. As you walk in, they pull out some clam chowder from the kitchen, put it down in front of you, and it's the best clam chowder you've ever had. The first thing you'll do when you go back to your office, or next time you see your family, you'll tell them about it. Had this fantastic clam chowder. I didn't even have to wait for it. It came out straight away. The other thing is, you'll go back tomorrow for more. So that's purely what satisfaction is. And if you can copy that on a website, then it's a lot cheaper in the long run, and you'll generate a lot more revenue just following. And so how do we generate satisfaction? It's by monitoring and increasing these 7 dimensions of quality which we've identified, such as navigation, trustworthiness, ease of use, and these types of elements of quality.